In this video, let's take a look at my spouse's best-selling stock photos on Shutterstock in the last year. Certain bestsellers were a complete surprise to us. We also cover important keywords that landed sales for these stock photos. Also, stay to the end of the video. We will share our advice on how to improve your chances of getting stronger sales on Shutterstock. Hi, I'm Andrei and welcome if you're new here. My wife and I have been stock photographers full-time since about 2015, and we are making a living off it. We're getting close to 50,000 stock photos and 10,000 stock videos. Our Shutterstock portfolios are linked below. Our images and footage are average. The result we achieved is something that an aspiring photographer can reproduce with enough skill, time and patience. With that aside, let's delve in. The first best-selling stock photo on Shutterstock is this one. It shows the Royal Courts of Justice in London. The stock image is from 2018. Let me tell you a short story how my wife took this photo. We stopped by at London for a few days, and at the early onset of our stock photography journey, we quickly realized that having tons of content is key. And traveling is probably the best way to expand your portfolio fast. And so I had this crazy idea. We stayed in London for less than a week. Of course, you can walk around and take photos and videos all day, but what if there's a transportation that circles around the city along famous sites? And as it turns out, there is such a thing, a tour bus. The big bus, Golden Tours and certain other bus tour operators offer tickets that let you hop on and hop off for a day or more. It doesn't have to be London. Bus tours are available in other big cities such as New York, Paris and Tokyo. Because it was summer, the upper deck was open air, so we armed ourselves with our trusty cameras and monopods and off we went. I wish we had handheld gimbal, of course, but even with monopods it was more than enough. Remembering all our prior photo shoots, that bus tour was the best, biggest smashing success for us. Our best-selling stock photos and videos, many of them come from that London tour. We uploaded this photo back in 2018. It earned us $95 and sold 5 times in the last 12 months. This long close-up shot was some random photo my wife took when the tour bus happened to pass by it. The thing is that we could have added just a bunch of generic keywords like London, building and architecture and been done with it. But it almost guarantees that this image would have been lost in the sea of similar photos. That's why we always spend a lot of time looking for a location and the name of places when relevant. Here are the keywords that the buyers use to find the stock photo, and that's probably not a complete list. But either way, thankfully, we were able to find this building and identify it as a Royal Courts of Justice. The second best-selling Shutterstock image is this one showing me. We just moved to a new apartment back in 2022 and we're taking shots of it. I happened to quickly pose in front of the fridge as if I was hungry and looking for something to eat. This photo sold 43 times and earned us $67 in the last year. Here are the relevant keywords. This photo was very easy to take. In fact, anyone can take this photo even solo anywhere in the world. The third best-selling photo that my spouse uploaded in 2018 is this one. It shows a small fishing village of Hofen in Iceland. We traveled through Iceland back then and took tons of other photos and videos. This photo sold 2 times and earned us $47 in the last year. It was not a high-volume photo. Someone probably bought it for specific use with extended licensing, which cost a bit more. Unfortunately, Shutterstock does not provide search terms that buyers used, but we included all the relevant ones like location, season and what the photo depicts. The fourth bestseller was this image of a farmhouse by a farm field at Ile d'Orléans Island in Quebec. This is an old photo from 2017. Views in Quebec and Ile d'Orléans Island area by St. Lawrence River are stunning. We took a 2-week road trip and have some of the best memories from back then. The photo sold 10 times and earned us $41 in the last year. The way buyers found it was using these keywords. They are very typical keywords. In fact, we have many more images from Ile d'Orléans, and I searched for this keyword combination and many of our photos still come up at the top of the search results. And that's despite the fact that these photos are almost 8 years old. The fifth best-selling stock photo on Shutterstock is this photo we took on that London trip in 2018. The main focus is people on bikes commuting to work or touring the city. The photo sold 6 times and earned us $40. It's hard to say how buyers found this image, because Shutterstock does not provide search terms. But from what I can tell, it probably has to do with people commuting to work on bikes. So we had all the necessary keywords like commute, bike, work, as well as London. On top of it, this photo is an editorial one, unlike the previous ones. And we often take and upload photos with no property or model releases. And buyers are still using them for some newsworthy situations. Next, have you guys seen the movie called Truman Show, featuring Jim Carrey? It was filmed in the small town of Seaside in Florida at the Gulf of America. That's where we took our sixth best-selling image. It shows a coast with waterfront homes. The city was developed in the new urbanism style pioneered by Robert and Daryl Davis. This photo got licensed 19 times for $39 in the last 12 months. We uploaded it in 2021. Unfortunately, we don't have the search terms from Shutterstock for this photo. But from what I can tell is that there are not that many stock photos and videos from Seaside in Florida. If we add new urbanism to the search terms, many of our photos occupy the first page of search results. We love visiting Seaside. It's a beautiful community like what you would picture in movies. Before proceeding to other photos, I want to highlight one important tool that we use all the time in our stock photography workflow. And that's Nik Collection photo filters. They create a unique look that's very hard to recreate on your own. We use it all the time. Give Nik Collection a try with a 30-day free trial and our Blocking Films code for 15% off. The next best-selling photo is this one. It shows our calico cat Cassie lying peacefully near the back garden. My wife used to often follow our cats and take photos of whatever they would do. Very often they were in funny situations. This photo was uploaded in 2017 and got licensed a whopping one time for $38 in the last year. Our pet photos sell well, and the likely reason is because we try to show some unique and funny situations with them. For instance, the cat may eat something or do something humorous with all relevant keywords included. We sometimes laugh at how our cats are our best models, and on top of it, you don't need a release from them. If pet photos are generic, like showing dog or cat sitting and doing nothing, it's almost guaranteed that these images will collect dust. So if you want to take pet photos, aim for something unique and interesting. The eighth best-selling photo my wife took at Mount Crested Butte Ski Resort in Colorado. Mount Crested Butte is stunning in all seasons. The mountain is towering over the village with scattered homes on rolling hills. The photo was taken back in 2019 and sold 11 times for a total of $36 in the last year. Even though it's an old photo, it still sells well for us. And we have many more photos and videos from that location. In fact, I searched for Crested Butte, Colorado lately. And many of our content, like photos and videos, still feature at the top of the search results. And again, that's despite the fact that these are very old photos and videos. The ninth best-selling photo is this image of a Tesla Cybertruck taken not too far from Washington, D.C. It's a random photo shot from a car through a windshield this year, and yet for some reason someone needed it. It's an editorial photo. The image got licensed only one time for $36. It's hard to say how a buyer found this image. Shutterstock does not provide search terms. But maybe it has to do with the fact that that location is in Northern Virginia, close to Washington, D.C. And the final best-selling photo on Shutterstock is this one. It depicts a Chipotle restaurant in Naples, Florida. This editorial image got licensed 2 times and earned $34 in the last year. Buyers used the following search terms. While there are tons of photos showing Chipotle restaurants, there are not that many taken in Florida, and there are even fewer if you add shopping mall to the search terms. In fact, if I search for just Chipotle restaurant, our photo is nowhere to be found. But if I add Florida, then this photo pops up at the first top of search results. And of course, adding more like shopping mall, it just stays there. So including specific location is very important. With those stats aside, let me tell you pay-per download for these 10 best-selling stock photos, and it is $4.70, which is way more than 72 cents that my wife earned on average for all stock photos in the last year. In fact, the bulk of our Shutterstock earnings come from those smaller sales, and only about 10 to 20% of our sales have above average pay per download. But if you add up all these small numbers and those large ones too, you end up with a solid income. The other interesting observation is that all photos still sell well. There's a concern among stock photographers that all content is doomed at some point after a few years. And I would say it's probably more or less true if your content is generic and doesn't have unique keywords and doesn't show unique situations. The new content from other photographers at some point overwhelms this old content. But if stock photos occupy some niche or show some unique location, that could be a different matter. For instance, as we saw before, our photos from Crescent Butte, Colorado still sell well. That's despite the fact that they're quite old. And that's because there are just not that many photos or videos from that location. Plus, if buyers like and buy photos, it doesn't really matter to Shutterstock how old a photo is. As long as it gets sales, Shutterstock will still promote it, and the photo will land at the top of the search results. The other thing is traveling. Traveling is one of the best ways to quickly expand your stock photography portfolio. And every time we notice we pause traveling, our new and fresh content starts to decline. But thankfully, when we travel, we take lots of photos and videos. So when we stay at home, we have lots of content to work on. And the final tip that we almost always repeat in our stock photography tutorials is keywording. Relevant keywords are so important in stock photography that if you don't pay attention and work on it, it's almost impossible to make it there. And that's it for this video. If you would like to learn our pay-per-download rates on other stock photography platforms like Getty and Adobe Stock, watch this video next. Also, we made a tutorial on how to keyword stock content linked here. Also, like and subscribe for more content on stock photography from us in the future. Thank you for watching and all the best!